Dinosaur Lesson. It was 1975. For those of you who don't know, 1975 was a year in history. Many people were alive then. Some of them were old already and spent time gardening or sitting in armchairs with blankets on their knees. Others went to work and cooked 1975 type meals and watched 1975 type television. And then there were those, we should probably call them children, who went to school and learnt things from their 1975 teachers. A final interesting fact about 1975 is that back then people were far less worried about wearing clothes that were brown or buttercup yellow. In fact, they were happy to do so. In 1975, Eloise Hunter was 6 years old. When we join her, she is starting a new year at school and is sitting at her desk listening to her 1975 teacher, Miss Highbridge, along with her 1975 classmates. The children are all wearing their school uniforms of red jumper or cardigan and navy blue skirt or pinafore if they are girls, and navy blue trousers or shorts if they are boys. Miss Highbridge is very fashionable. She is wearing a buttercup yellow blouse and a chestnut brown skirt. Miss Highbridge is telling the children that it is the first term of the new school year and they have a new project to do. "I want everyone to make a model," she says. "Make a model of a scene from where you live," she adds. "Something, for example, of historical or natural interest." She stares at her new class. "But not necessarily." This last point confuses them. David Tuck puts his hand up. Miss Highbridge shakes her head. "No," she says, "no questions. You are 6 years old now and you need to begin thinking for yourselves. You need to concentrate." Her eyes are blue and seem open too much. Eloise eats her tea with her parents and tells them what Miss Highbridge said. Her dad says, "Blimey, she sounds like a bit of a dragon." Eloise's mum frowns at him. "Don't worry, Eloise," she says. Then she smiles and nods and adds, "You'll think of something." Eloise does worry about it because she is a bit of a worrier. But the other thing about her is that she loves making things, and the idea of doing a model makes her feel very excited. Excuse me. The next day, she makes her mum hurry home from school with her because her favourite programme is on television, and if they walk normally, Eloise will miss the beginning. Her mum is pushing Eloise's baby sister Bella in a pushchair, so it's hard for her. Eloise's favourite programme is an American cartoon about a family who travel back in time by mistake and end up in prehistoric times and have to live with dinosaurs. Eloise loves dinosaurs. She hopes she doesn't love them more than Bella, but worries that she might. Her dream is to join the cartoon family in the land of the dinosaurs. There are 3 reasons for this. Firstly, she loves dinosaurs and wants to meet some. Secondly, she wants to have adventures with the little boy who is the son in the cartoon family because she likes him. Thirdly, she likes the scenery in the cartoon. She likes the dry, rocky, wild land with sand and caves and no buildings and very hot weather. Eloise has a small book about dinosaurs and prehistoric times. When her favourite programme has finished, she goes up to her little bedroom and reads it. She has read it lots of times, but that doesn't mean she always remembers what's in it. This time, it reminds her of something she has forgotten, and being reminded makes her happy and inspires her. The happy, inspiring thing she reads in her dinosaur book is this. In prehistoric times, Great Britain looked very different. It was a hot place with a wild landscape, which was often dry, very rocky, and full of strange plants and dinosaurs. It looked nothing like it does today, with its smart houses and modern shopping centres. Eloise realises what kind of model she should make for Miss Highbridge's project and tells her mum, who nods and smiles. That's great, Eloise, she says, because it's where you live and it's got historical and natural interest. Eloise knows there is a thing called papier-mâché, which is good for making models. On television, she has seen people showing her how to do it. Her mum has to help her and says, "Do you want to look at some pictures first to get an idea?" Eloise shakes her head. Because of her little book and her favourite programme, she knows exactly what her model should look like. Making a papier-mâché model, now or in 1975, takes a little while. You have to wait for things to dry, like glue and paint and varnish. From start to finish, Eloise's model takes 2 weeks, but it's still ready for the date when Miss Highbridge says the children have to bring their models in to show the class. The day before, Eloise's mum takes her to the shop in the high street, which sells birthday cards and stationery on the ground floor and toys and games on the first floor. Eloise's mum leaves Bella in her pushchair on the ground floor, where the shop lady keeps an eye on her. Then Eloise's mum takes Eloise upstairs and buys her a little net bag full of very small plastic dinosaurs. "The finishing touch for your model," she says. The next morning, Eloise's mum has to take Eloise to school extra early because Bella has an early appointment at the doctor's to get some baby injections. So Eloise is the first child to arrive. She stands in the classroom holding her model carefully and nods goodbye to her mum and Bella. Miss Highbridge is sitting at her 1975 teacher's desk. She looks at Eloise. "What do you have there, Eloise?" she asks. "It's my model," says Eloise. Miss Highbridge frowns and gets up and walks towards Eloise. "What model?" "The model for the project," says Eloise. Miss Highbridge stares. Her blue eyes are so open that Eloise feels sure there must be invisible matchsticks supporting her eyelids. "Do you mean my project for a scene where you live, something of historical or natural interest, for example?" Eloise nods. Miss Highbridge looks very unfriendly. "This is a papier-mâché model of prehistoric times with dinosaurs," she says, and the word dinosaurs is extra hard. "You weren't concentrating when I explained the project." Eloise looks down at her model. It is a papier-mâché model of a dry, rocky landscape, which she has painted red and green. The red is for the rocks, and the green is for the strange prehistoric plants. Eloise has also painted a brown river running through the middle of the rockiness, and there are very small plastic dinosaurs stuck on the model to show that dinosaurs live there. Because Eloise is quiet, Miss Highbridge tuts and sounds angry. "Why don't you concentrate in class?" Eloise looks up at Miss Highbridge's starey face. "I do concentrate," she says. "The model is where I live because all of Great Britain looked like this in prehistoric times. It's historical interest because it's prehistoric times. It's natural interest because there aren't any humans in it with things humans make. It's just nature and dinosaurs." Miss Highbridge takes the model from Eloise and bangs it down on the classroom display table. A very small Tyrannosaurus Rex falls over because Miss Highbridge is not very careful with the model. She turns back to Eloise and huffs. "This is not what I wanted," she cries. Eloise doesn't like being told off. It makes her feel she is a bad person, and it makes her tummy go funny, and it makes her feel that she's going to cry. But she's 6, so she already understands that sometimes if you cry in front of people at school, they are unkind to you. So she swallows and she makes her lips tight and her face very still. "Don't you make a face at me, young lady." Miss Highbridge is finding it difficult to understand Eloise today. She does not understand her explanation about the model, and she does not understand Eloise's face. Eloise realises she doesn't feel like crying anymore. She feels fed up and cross with Miss Highbridge. "Stop making that face!" Miss Highbridge is growling. Oh yes, some people growled in 1975, just like some people growl today. "I'm not making a face," says Eloise. Except she is now. She is making a cross face. "You aren't very nice. I did listen and I made a good model and you're being horrible about it." Eloise doesn't want to look at Miss Highbridge anymore. She shuts her eyes and thinks about her favourite programme and about the pictures in her little dinosaur book. She concentrates and concentrates and concentrates and sees wild rocky places and strange plants and a galloping triceratops and a gentle brontosaurus and a roaring Tyrannosaurus Rex. And she hears a loud pop. Eloise opens her eyes. Miss Highbridge is not standing in front of her anymore, but Eloise can hear a noise that sounds a little bit like her hard, unfriendly voice. It is coming from the corner of the classroom where the display table is. Eloise goes to see and stops when she arrives at her model. Miss Highbridge is standing on it. Not normal 1975 size Miss Highbridge. No. Tiny Miss Highbridge. She is smaller now than the very small plastic dinosaurs. Speaking of which, the very small Tyrannosaurus Rex which Miss Highbridge knocked over when she banged the model down on the display table, well, that Tyrannosaurus Rex has got up and is cocking its head and looking at Miss Highbridge. Miss Highbridge makes a noise which might be "help," but her voice is so tiny it is hard for Eloise to tell. Anyway, some of her classmates have begun to arrive with their models, so Eloise walks over to have a look at them and admire them. After a few minutes, she remembers her own and goes back to the display table. Miss Highbridge is no longer there, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex is still again, but with something hanging from its teensy-weensy plastic jaws. It is a tiny, torn, buttercup yellow blouse. Eloise has a funny feeling. It makes her think twice about wanting to meet dinosaurs.